Joining us now to do that, Florida Congresswoman and member of House Homeland Security and Agricultural Committees, Cammack. Congresswoman, welcome back to the program. I appreciate you being here. This is a hot button item. It's going across all the airwaves right now. But what is your take on where this stands right now, as we've had a couple hours or days to digest what actually happened?
Well, good morning to you both, and thanks for having me. You know, there's a lot that we still don't know. And so there's really nothing more than speculation at this point about what was in the search warrant, things of that nature. But what we do know is that this is a gross overreach. I mean, even with so many outstanding details, we know that 30 FBI agents is not required to pick up 15 boxes.
Right.
This is clearly the weaponization of the DOJ by the Biden regime. And it's absurd. Everything that we have heard has pointed back to that the National Archivist was looking for records from his term in office. Now, when you dig into this is what I find to be very interesting. The penalty for violating the Presidential Records Act, right? So keeping records or letters or notes, right? That is the equivalent of fines, but also prohibits, if found guilty of this, prohibits a person from holding future office. Now, I find that to be very specific, considering that the Biden administration is absolutely terrified of another Trump campaign. And so I think this is politically motivated in nature. I think it is overstepping the bounds of what their mission is. We're seeing the weaponization of federal agencies, not just with the DOJ and the FBI, but now, of course, with the IRS, with 87,000 potential new agents to audit everyday working class Americans. This is big government at its worst. And this is what an America Last policy looks like. We need to get our stuff together and get Republicans back in November, because if we don't, there will be no stopping this runaway banana republic.
Yeah, let's talk about that IRS hiring that you mentioned, 87,000 new agents. This is part of the Inflation Reduction Act. This in particular, it's getting a lot of pushback, especially when you look at the data that the majority of people who have been audited are those who make under $400,000, which is what the press secretary said that will only apply to. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's clear that that's a lie, because the Senate Democrats were they were able to vote on an amendment to this package and say, and the amendment was quite simple. It said that none of these 87,000 IRS agents would target individuals or families making less than $400,000. Yet every Democrat shot that amendment down, which, again, right there told us their play. They're interested in coming after working class Americans and people who are making less than $400,000, which means that Joe Biden was lying all along. And then you think about what else is in this package, this disastrous package. Even Bernie Sanders, by the way, isn't buying the inflation reduction. He calls it the so-called inflation reduction. It's really more of the Expansion Act, because you have $350 billion in Green New Deal taxes and fees that are designed to increase the price of gas, to go after methane, and to penalize domestic production of oil here in the United States. Again, I go back to, this is the America Last agenda that Joe Biden has been pushing for since he got in office. And we're votes away from stopping this legislation on Friday. We can do it. We need America's help. Let's stop this Biden regime from
That would be something if it's stalled in the House. Congresswoman, I got about 15 seconds left. The CPI numbers just came in, 8.5%, so very little bit less bad than it was last go around. Still huge, no?
Absolutely. I mean, think about when we were in the first few months of the Joe Biden administration. It was 1.7. A few points here and there isn't going to make much difference. We know that gas is too expensive, food is too expensive. It's back to school week, and things are just too expensive. Americans cannot afford Joe Biden. It's time to get under control and the power back to them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Congresswoman Cammack. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
You too.